Hello, J-Robes, and welcome to your deck review for Escapegoat. For those of you who have not seen any of these videos before, there's a series where I'm Maldhound, a known hater and yeller, will calmly and politely talk to you about your PP, which is your commander deck's premise and practicum. Your premise is, I keep doing the 6-7 hands when I do that intro. Uh, Internet is a curse. I'm so happy to be here with you all. Your premise is the idea behind your deck. For this person, it is, illness most foul, and your practicum is the stuff you put in the 99 and whether or not it helps you do that. So this commander deck, not so much about winning. We'll take one every once in a while, but I want to experience a silly game. My friends keep trying to do nonsense. They have this game plan where they play cards that win. I hate it. I want to take their cards that win, and I want to be Robin Hood. I like that. I can mess with that. We can definitely make that happen with Zedruu. Now, you talk about Zedruu's ability so expensive. The idea is to have cards that are already given to opponents to get value immediately. Wrong. We're trying to be silly. If we can't, like, Robin Hood doesn't go, oh man, that guy's really rich. It would be tough to rob that motherfucker. I'll just give you 10 of my dollars and then we'll both be broke. But if you could buy me a croissant tomorrow, that way I get some value. No. We have a hard path in front of us, but we have a dream and we need to effectuate that dream. So I Googled a rule. I read your primer before I hit it recording. I immediately had an idea. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I don't like things like this because, or at least I don't think things like this actually match up with what you have talked about, because with what you have talked about is we want to be a trickster god with our thumb on the scales. We want to be able to rebalance the game at a moment's notice to make it more interesting, right? The person who ran away with the game because they had a good early start isn't going to keep running away with the game because I'm going to step in and do a little switcheroo. That is not effectuated by just jerking everybody off at Mach 10. It's just not. That's a different deck. Also can be a funny deck every once in a while. Me personally, I find those decks get less funny the more often you play them. So if it's a deck that's just about, like, I'm going to inject more speed into this game, everybody's going to have more resources, everybody's going to have access to more cards. Every time I've played those decks, I've seen people play those decks, people have talked to me about their experience playing those decks. They have a worse and worse time the more often they use it. And so if we want to be the rebalancer, these are the most important creatures. This section down here where we have, like, okay, we're all going to play Ring Around the Rosie with our creatures. Okay, we're going to exchange control of two target creatures. Okay, we're going to take stuff. And so I think we need to have more of these or better ways to support them. And you have a few of these already, but there's way more that we could be using, where an active treason effect, so an effect that, named after active treason, an effect that takes something for the turn, you can give that creature away with Zedruu, and at the end of turn, the original person doesn't get it back. So for 6 mana, you can take the commander of you can take the Bristly Bill of the landfall player, give it to somebody who can't do landfall, and you're like, that's yours forever. You have that for always. And, like, that to me is the funny rebalancing. That to me is the funny rebalancing we want to do. Now, if we're going to achieve that, we need a lot of money. You do need rocks, because to achieve that, your average turn has to be like 6 mana, right? Because we have to play probably a 2 to 4 mana effect that will take a creature. There are some that can do it for cheaper. Like, if you just want to steal a mana door, just take it. Take the Llanowar Elves. Hey, you're adopted now. Non-consensually. Have a good day. You can do it for cheaper, but I think a lot of it is going to be like, you play Zedruu, the turn after you play Zedruu, you try to swap control of 2 things, or you try to take something with an active treason effect and then give it away with Zedruu. Um, I'm gonna try to think of some other cards that will just help you normal style. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can. So Boros Iroh would just be good to help you get immediate value. This is a thing that can give stuff away very readily. Having some type of like, because sometimes the game's going to be so hot that you don't really want to give anybody anything good. Like giving anybody anything good will just guarantee that they win, and perhaps in a non-interesting way. And so you do want to be able to make some like garbage tokens. You know, we can make some 1/1 white allies. Maybe it gets kind of big, but it's not gonna have trample or anything. Um, and so you kind of position yourself as an arms dealer. I'm trying to think of other things. And then it'll be like, okay, I get to gain a ton of life. I get to draw a ton of cards. You could even have like, you could put one of these in your deck where you get 1/1 mites with toxic 1 and this can't block, and you're like, actually, I think everybody's doing fine. Gerald, here's a tick. Pay no attention to me, Gerald. So the difficult part of politicking this deck, or piloting this deck, is trying to figure out, how do I decide who to give stuff to? How do I make sure I'm making deals with them such that I go like, hey, I'm gonna give you Zach's commander. Don't fuck with me, right? You have 2 commanders now. You are polycommanderous. Leave me alone. And I think some pretty funny stuff can happen because of that. It will also, in effect, people will hate you. People will hate you. You're going to be a real rapscallion playing this deck. But it can pseudo help Zedruu dodge removal. Because once you have achieved this, once you have done like, I take control of your commander for the turn, I give it to Tony forever, killing Zedruu doesn't bring their commander back. It doesn't re-virgin their olive oil. And so it's going to put them in a position where if they have removal, they're probably going to spend it on their commander to recast their commander, which is hilariously soul-crushing. If that sounds too mean, then just like, don't use these spells on your commander, but that's the plan you've signed up for. If you want to be Zedruu, the god of balance, and you rebalance the scales by taking stuff and giving it to them, we want to have quite a lot of color fixing ramp. We want to have more of these, or we want to have ways to support these better. So what would supporting these better look like? Holy fuck. This is probably the most evil one. I might cut this just because Perplexing Chimera normally starts out funny and then becomes like, can we just say it's dead? Can we just, please God, holy shit, please God, please, please, please. Oh, you have Iroh Team Master. I'm such a fool. Good, then you're on the right path. Okay, we're getting weird too. So I think actually you're in a really good place already. I think the only things we need is perhaps a little bit more mana, and I would convert some of these. I would convert really the whole This Buds for You section into things you think are funny, treason spells, more ramp. That's basically it. Because most of these things were like, we don't need to give our opponents value. The value we're giving our opponents is Joshua's command. You could even put in like a win con or two. I have no idea what that would be in a deck that has already spread this thin. Trying to think. Trying to think of some like mass theft spell. I guess you could right, like if you've spent the whole game passing stuff around and you're in a decent spot, then you just go, actually it's all mine, die. Actually it's all mine, what have you exploded now? So I think there's a few versions of this effect. Let's see, yeah, mass theft. You do other stuff like Blatant Thievery. The reason I'm suggesting these spells is we're already building a deck that seeks to spend 7 mana on a turn. Sometimes the most important rebalancing act is for you to be scarier. And you spend a turn and you cast a spell like this and you take something from everybody and you go, if you're nice, I'll give it back. And like, it won't trigger Zedruu directly, but it will be very fun and you get to be a little rat. I don't think we have the mana for Harness by Force. You could definitely do Mob Rule. You could definitely do Mass Mutiny. Reigns of Power is very funny. Twist Allegiance is funny for a turn. You're like, hey, Nate, can I borrow your board? Thanks, Nate. Here's a goat. And then you kill Joshua. And then you get your goat back. So that's where I would be. I would stop trying to give people direct value, and I would focus more on this, like, I'm moving the cups around, I'm moving the cups around, I'm moving the cups around. Because that will make you able to keep up better. Right now, if you give people this much value, what's going to happen every game is you are just going to be left behind, like, immediately, which will be funny once. It will be half as funny the second time. It will be a tenth as funny the third time. And by the fourth time, you'll be like, actually, I hate group hug. Maybe you have the specific brainworm for it, and if you do, it'll never get old, but that is what I would guess is going to happen. Versus, I think you said, I'll take your bikini bottom. I don't know if that's the full tag. Let me look. Let me get the context. I'll take your bikini bottom and push it somewhere else. I think this has real potential to be a gimmick that you can do game after game after game and have a pretty good time. Doing. The other things that could help support that, we don't have a ton of draw power. I will say I would be careful with aggressive mining and arcane laboratory. These are very pod dependent spells. Sometimes they're very funny. Sometimes everybody just goes, why do you hate fun? Why do you hate me? You know that when my dad died, he said in his will, cast 2 spells every turn. How am I gonna get the house now? Like, genuinely, some people will just fully crash out. And it's like, yes, they're being babies, and also we want to have fun with these people, and it's not really that deep. The game's Mario Party. So I would say these are potential cuts. Crown of Doom's perfect. Grasp of Fate is fine to give away. I think you could even do with having a few more of these, but I really want to focus on the, like, swap stuff around rather than directly remove stuff. Shared Fate is insane, dog. Shared, you are a crazy person. I think like Knowledge Pool, Shared Fate, maybe even Possibility Storm, because the thing that makes Commander games very not fun is when nobody can put together something compelling. So I do want to again caution you about, like, I've seen many Possibility Storms resolve. Only 2 have been funny until the end of the game. It is a very, it's very much like Perplexing Chimera, where when it is played, it is hilarious. 30 minutes after it has been played, you can feel them becoming less close with you in real time, and it's heartbreaking. But again, if you have the right pod for it, all gas, no brakes, don't worry about it. But I would say these 3 could also be picked out as, like, sometimes they have good vibes, sometimes they have bad vibes. I think stealing everybody's commander and going, and really I'm just adjusting a different flavor of that, because some people will tweak the fuck out if you take their commander, but it is objectively funny to be like, no, I'm Robin Hood, yoink. But if we move around permanents on the board, people still feel like they can make a little bit of a plan versus feeling like they have just, like, oh, I'm going to cast this thing that I thought was cool and I'm going to get something totally different, and now I'm deflated, right? I don't think you need a harmless offering. I like the rest of these. I really don't think we need harmless offering. Like I think the point is to get something interesting from them, not so much, hey, it's early game, I need you to have a mana rock so I can get Zedruu value. I wouldn't be worried as much about the value from Zedruu. I would be worried about like Zedruu is Zedruu's the guy that makes the gimmick possible. And maybe I'm just drawing one or two cards from him over the course of the entire game. That's enough. He has the thing stapled to him that lets me do this really, really dumb pass around plan. So I think you're like 90% of the way there. I just wouldn't give other people this much free damage, this many free cards, and then I think you have something really, really funny to work with. So if people have a different idea, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I wish you the best, and I hope this helps.